good to talk about my experiences here in Thailand, but also giving any advice I can to aspiring football players that maybe want to consider or have the opportunity to come play in Thailand or coach in Thailand. I think that's so. Firstly, obviously my name's Matt Smith, head coach of BG Pathum United, former player here as well, and yeah, open and happy to share any of my thoughts. Look at the facilities we have here. There's no doubt in my mind that especially here at BG, we have the best facilities here in Thailand, if not probably some of the best facilities now in Asia. We have everything that any coach or any player could ever dream of. The standards they're not Asian based, they're actually, in my opinion, European based. So any person that is lucky enough to come work at BG should be very grateful. Bangkok is very unique. It's a multicultural city. It's a very livable city. It's a huge expat community. There's the restaurants, coffee shops, parks, hospitals, education system is mirrors anything that there is in Australia or also the UK. So to be able to adapt is very, very, very easy. Every place has their positives and negatives, but we wouldn't have come back if we didn't enjoy the city. I think that one thing that I try and always explain is the reason why. So when I'm delivering to my coaches on how I want our team to perform and how I want them to play, and then when we deliver it to our players, I think that it's very important that you explain why. And that's something that's always carried through, even coaching in Australia for the last 3 years. Why would a player do this? Why would we be playing this way at this particular moment, in this particular scenario? And I think that that's something which I picked up from a couple of coaches, not many, because a lot of coaches can just, anybody can get a bag of balls and the cones and just put a practice on. And it could be a good practice, but what sort of style or then how does that deliver down to the pitch so the players have the understanding of how to go and play. So I have an idea of how I want teams to play, how I want BG to play, so that when it comes to the practices, making it learn, like making sure that the players learn and understand the system, but also they're enjoying what we're doing as well. So why are we doing this? This is the reason why we're doing that. Like, are they learning? Are they developing? Are they walking the pitch buzzing because they just thoroughly enjoyed that session? So everything that I do, I try and think, like, are the players learning? Are they learning system? Are they learning themselves? But more importantly, are they enjoying what they're doing? Because as a player, unfortunately, I walked off a training field sometimes and it's been, well, I haven't enjoyed that session, or there's no purpose to that session. So obviously I've been lucky enough to kind of play with a lot of coaches, some very good coaches, which I guess I've taken the good bits and the bad bits and I guess trying to mold that into my own personality and my own coaching style. I think it's a good message for any players or coaches coming into Thailand. As I'd done my research before joining BG, and I'm a very passionate person. I think for any of close personal friends or any people that have worked alongside me or with me at varying levels would know my personality it's very intense, and I think that when there was an opportunity to come to BG, there was a 2-week period of understanding at all levels. The head coach at the time, Ricardo Rodriguez, and the vice president, Superson, flew to Brisbane, and we spent 2 days discussing my role here at BG before I agreed to come. And I think that's really important because you need to be fully aware of whatever role you're coming into. So there was an objective of the club and a vision of the club which sparked my interest. I didn't want to just join a club just because of, and I'll be honest, just because of there's a good salary and opportunity to come live in Thailand. That wasn't my objective. My objective before I arrived and my role before I arrived was clearly set out. So it was defined before I arrived what the club wanted, and it aligned with my personality and what I was looking for at that stage in my career. So what that meant was I had a longer term vision to try and achieve what I wanted to achieve, aligned with the club values. And when I was here, I set out to do that, and I was lucky to play here 4 years. So the purpose or the point of this was that I didn't come here for a holiday. I didn't come here just to like spend the last part of my career just enjoying Thailand. I came here to try and make a difference, to try and leave my own little legacy behind of that small little part of BG's history, which is growing and growing and growing. So. Whereas I'm not saying that all foreigners do that, but I've seen many foreigners that arrive and don't last too long for varying reasons. But my advice would be to embrace Thailand, embrace its culture, but also leave their own legacies. So it's understanding each individual, but then it's also having principles and behaviours and standards that are clear, and that everyone understands that if you're a BG player, if you want to be involved within this squad, that these are the boundaries, and this is the expectations every single day that you arrive through the training centre or when you put on the shirt. Now that also stems the same for local players as it does for foreign players. So you can be from Brazil, Croatia, Spain, Portugal, wherever it may be. Those standards are expected here as part of the BG DNA as such. Then, how do we get the best? Again, number one, they have to enjoy what they do. They have to enjoy the environment that we create, and that goes back to the coaching staff. I have to educate and create an environment for the coaching staff so that by the time the players come, there's synergy amongst. There's 11 coaches, but there's 32 support staff. There's nearly 80 support staff just for the football team alone, right? So it's a very family-oriented club, and how we get the best, they have to perform. We have to make sure that we give them every opportunity to perform, and then we'll see. I'm English born, lived there for 25 years, moved to Australia. I had to, when I moved to Australia, respect Australian cultures, rules and legislation and regulation. Coming to Thailand, I'm an English Australian now living in Thailand. I have to respect their cultures and their behaviours. I can't come into someone else's country and expect them to think and behave exactly how I. So it is important that you take time to understand, and take time to respect. But also doesn't mean to say you can take all your personality, but it's adapting your personalities and not your beliefs, but certainly your personalities to ensure that, again, we're a football club, there's a team and a group where I'm not here by myself on a singular basis where it just doesn't work. So keep an open mind, really have an open mind into learning and understanding, and then adding, trying to contribute.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You can't come to Thailand and have a plan. And nothing in life is easy. Nothing in life is free. You cannot expect things to fall into a plate for you. You have to work very, very hard to achieve anything in life. So before you expect anything, you have to go back to the basics of life, in my opinion, and go and work very, very hard and try and acquire yourself a club or a location or a job or a role somewhere in the world that can then form a base for you then to learn and develop. Whether it's Thailand, Australia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Cambodia, opportunities aren't just going to pop up and arise. You have to work very, very hard for them. Advice would be to prepare themselves the best that they can be. And whether or not it's Thailand, any country in the world, if you're going to try it, you have to be the best that you physically, mentally, technically can be at that moment in time. Because you don't know, I mean, within your environment and your scenario, how you bring players to come and trial, there might be a number of clubs that will come and have a look. If your preparation 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months, the year before is not giving you the opportunity to showcase the best that you can be, you're wasting your time. Like, so before any players go on trial anywhere in the world with any club, don't don't come underdone is really the best way to put it, because it's an opportunity to show. So be the best you can be. It's quite simple. That's life. You're gonna fail, right? Like, everyone has their own story. My experiences of highs and lows. I've had success. I've had rejections. I've been released. I had to go and reinvent myself on multiple occasions. Now, you might not never get a chance, but when you look back on your life, what would you rather? Quit at the first attempt and say, well, so, I got rejected, so I gave up, or would you rather keep going and keep trying? You have to be realistic within your expectations. You have to also, my own story, everyone has their own story, but before I turned professional football, I had 2 career paths. I went to university and got a degree in marketing and management. I went and done a master's degree in sport business and management while still trying to play professional football. Whilst I was playing professional football, I got my coaching badges because I knew one day football, and I was lucky to play until I was 39 actually. But yet I was preparing myself for life after football. So again, it's a plan. What happens at the next stage? What are the what if moments? So invest as much as what you can to try and achieve your goal. Don't give up after the first opportunity. And my wife once told me that, because I was trying at multiple clubs in Australia before turning pro, and my wife once said, if you're good enough, you'll get a chance. It was as simple as that. But once I had my chance, I only signed a 6-week contract at North Queensland Fury. I was a gambler, but I made sure that I'd done everything that I could to ensure that I was the best that I could be. And then I was lucky to spend the next 10 years playing pro football. What I can add is that football is becoming extremely complex, which is a positive thing. I think worldwide football is becoming very scientific. The technology is ever evolving. Players are becoming quicker, faster, more knowledgeable. The support staff, I have alone here 32 staff, all looking after a group of just under 30 players to make sure that from nutrition to video analysis to tactical preparation, technical preparation, psychological preparation. So if any organisation can help prepare players on the huge scope of football today, I think it's always a positive. I personally can't speak highly enough of Asian football and how it's evolved, especially here in Thailand, but the Southeast Asian nations. Other clubs in Thailand are also progressing. Even I've been away from BG for 3 years. The vast amount of changes since I was here as a player is tremendous. Other countries like Cambodia and Vietnam, Philippines. I mentioned Malaysia before. The Southeast Asian nations are developing at such a huge rate. The amount of investment and resources that's going into junior development is massive, and that's without countries like Japan, Korea, Australia, China. So it's ever evolving, it's ever developing, and I think it's got a great future.